It was a time of war, of silent glances exchanged under the flicker of dying stars. The galaxy was fractured, torn apart by endless conflicts between distant worlds, each fighting for dominance, for resources, for survival. The old alliances had crumbled, and new ones were forged in secrecy and blood. Amidst this chaos, two figures would find their fates intertwined, one hiding in plain sight, the other an unlikely hero. Lena was a member of the Terran Special Forces, a covert operative skilled in infiltration, sabotage, and assassination. Her missions were often dark, hidden in the shadows of the war, where the galaxy's true horrors were at their peak. But Lena had a secret, one that only a few knew about. For as long as she could remember, she had been hiding her face behind a mask, an ancient relic passed down from her ancestors. It was a mask of dark metal, intricately designed with patterns that no one could decipher, its weight both literal and metaphorical. The mask was not just for protection. It was a shield for her heart, a barrier between herself and the world, one that she had worn for years. Her true self, the face hidden behind the mask, was something she believed the world wasn't ready for. She had been taught to hide it. But as the war continued, she found herself on a mission that would change everything. A mission that brought her face to face with someone who would see beyond the mask, the one person she would never have expected to be the catalyst for her transformation. The mission was simple, at least on paper. Lena was tasked with infiltrating a highly guarded enemy space station to retrieve sensitive intelligence, a key piece in the puzzle of ending the war. As usual, she was alone, her face concealed beneath her mask, moving in and out of the shadows with the precision of a ghost. But there was something different about this mission. She had a feeling, an unsettling, inexplicable sense that the path she was about to take would alter the course of her life. It was on the station's command deck that she first encountered him. His name was Marcus Kane, a decorated officer in the Allied forces, known for his unwavering dedication and sharp tactical mind. He had been stationed on the enemy ship as part of a covert operation to gather intelligence, but he had never been briefed on Lena's mission. He had no idea who she was when they crossed paths in the dimly lit corridors of the station. She had entered the station under the guise of an enemy operative, her movements swift and fluid. She'd already dispatched 2 guards, her mind focused entirely on the mission. But as she rounded the corner, her eyes met Marcus's, and time seemed to freeze. He was standing there, his rifle raised, ready to fire, but the moment his gaze locked with hers, he hesitated. For a heartbeat, neither of them moved. The air was thick with tension, the silence unbearable. Marcus was the first to break the stillness. "Who are you?" he asked, his voice calm, though his grip on his weapon tightened. Lena's hand hovered near her weapon, her instincts screaming at her to act, to take him down before he could alert anyone. But something in his eyes stopped her. There was no malice there, no aggression, just confusion and something else, something vulnerable. "I'm no one," Lena replied softly, her voice barely a whisper. Marcus didn't lower his rifle. Instead, he took a step closer, his eyes narrowing. "No one? You're wearing their uniform," he said, his voice tinged with suspicion. "Who are you really?" Lena's heart raced. She had been trained to hide her emotions, to keep her true self buried deep inside, behind the mask. But this man, this stranger, was different. He was probing, asking questions that no one ever dared to ask. She could feel the walls she had built around herself beginning to crumble. For a moment, she considered using her combat training to eliminate him. It would be easy. He was just one man. But the thought of ending him, of taking another life, unsettled her. For the first time in years, she questioned her purpose. She didn't want to kill him. She didn't want to be the person she had become. "Why are you here?" Marcus asked again, his voice softer now, almost gentle. He lowered his rifle, and that simple action, his willingness to trust her, felt like a weight lifting off her chest. Lena hesitated, her mind torn. She had a mission to complete. She couldn't afford to be distracted. But something inside her yearned for honesty, for connection. In the vast expanse of space, where lives were lost in the blink of an eye, this moment felt like a lifeline. "I'm here to stop the war," she said quietly. "I'm here to take the intelligence that will end this madness." Marcus's gaze softened, and he took another step forward, lowering his rifle completely. "You're one of them, then," he said, as though the pieces were starting to fall into place. "But you don't want to fight. You don't want to be here." Lena didn't respond. She couldn't. The mask was there, both literally and figuratively, preventing her from saying the words she longed to speak. She wasn't just hiding her face. She was hiding herself, hiding her fears, her doubts, and her pain. But as Marcus stood there, looking at her with understanding, she felt something shift inside her. Maybe, just maybe, she could take off the mask. "I don't want to be part of the war," she admitted, her voice trembling. "But I don't know how to stop it." Marcus's expression softened. "Maybe you don't have to stop it alone. Maybe we can stop it together." It was in that moment that Lena made a decision that would change the course of both their lives. She reached up slowly, her fingers brushing the edges of her mask. For a brief moment, she hesitated. What would he think? Would he understand? But when her hand finally lifted the mask from her face, she found that she didn't care. She needed him to see her for who she truly was. No more secrets, no more hiding. As the mask fell to the floor, Marcus's eyes widened, not in fear, but in awe. Lena's face was unlike anything he had imagined. She was beautiful, not in a conventional sense, but in a way that was raw, real, and vulnerable. Her eyes, once hidden, now sparkled with the weight of countless stories, each one etched into her skin, into her soul. You're not what I expected," Marcus said softly, a smile tugging at the corner of his lips. "But you're exactly who I need." For the first time in a long while, Lena felt seen, truly seen. And in that moment, the mask she had worn for so long, the one that had shielded her from the world, finally fell away. Together, they would work to bring an end to the war. Together, they would confront the darkness that had consumed their lives and find a way to heal it. The path ahead would be uncertain, but for the first time, Lena was no longer afraid of showing her true self. And in Marcus, she had found something she hadn't expected: a partner, a friend, and someone who could see past the mask and into her heart.